From Greenville, South Carolina. Please give a warm welcome for Michael Channing.
I am a huge nerd, like Frey. I am very much a nerd. I give you the nerd salute, which is to go stand in the corner and not talk to anybody. Got into Dungeons and Dragons at a really early age. My mom was worried because it was the 80s and she heard all those terrible stories about it being dangerous. She thought, oh great, that's wonderful, my kid is going to worship Satan now. Oh great. And I wanted to tell her, no, Mom, this game has way better gods than that. Don't worry. Satan? Not even in the top 10, Mom, seriously. But I didn't say that, but I didn't want her to be afraid of the game. So I did the best thing I could. I invited her to observe a session of D&D. So my friends came over on a Thursday, we sat around the table, we ate pizza, and we drank Dr. Pepper, which is half of D&D right there. And she watched, and she had an epiphany. She said, oh, I get it now. My son collects dice. And he puts them in a little drawstring bag with his virginity. He's fine. Totally gonna be alright. I grew up in a trailer park in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and I think like a lot of neighborhoods, you know Rocky Mount? Awesome, yeah, birthplace of me and Thelonious Monk. One of us is famous. I'm a better comedian than him. He's got the piano thing down. I can do this. But in the neighborhood where I grew up, all the fathers had different specialties. Like some dads were really good at fixing barbecue. Some dads were really good at fixing cars. My dad was the best at fixing heroin. It was my dad, so I had to brag about something that he did. Like all the other kids were on the playground, they would boast, my dad could beat up your dad. And I would say, really? That's what you got? My dad died twice. He's immortal. Immortal father. Oh man. I got an amazing gift one Christmas. A wonderful gift for a nerdy child. I got a chemistry set. Yeah, I opened that up and I was like, oh, we're going to get some superpowers out of this. It's going to be great. Maybe some web shooters, maybe ninja smoke bombs. That's going to be awesome. Sucked. It was terrible. Like, all the experiments were lame that came with the kids. Like, there was one you could do. You could mix up a mixture of cobalt and water and do a test that would prove the presence of cobalt. Hypothesis science sucks. So I went to the library to get a book, like some better, like possibly more explodey experiments, and I unfortunately did not get a book on chemistry. I accidentally got a book on alchemy. And if you don't know what alchemy is, it's what chemistry used to be before OSHA came along and screwed it up. I read about the guy who discovered phosphorus. Phosphorus is one of the elements, glows in the dark, and it will explode. So I totally wanted to make something in the house. And I did the experiment best I could. He took 2 ingredients and put them into a crucible, baked it at high temperature, boom, we got some phosphorus. I did not have a crucible. I did the best I could with those same 2 ingredients into a test tube, held them over a flame. And those 2 ingredients happen to be sand and urine. I failed to take a couple of things into consideration for this experiment. 1, the scent of boiling urine, and 2, the speed at which that scent would fill a trailer home. My mom got whiff of my little experiment, and she burst into my room just yelling at me. She's like, what are you doing? What the hell is my firstborn child doing? And I said, no, Mom, can't get angry. No, doing science. And look what I made. It's, well, it's blackened sand, and it smells like piss. Eureka! I'll go ground myself. Oh, that was Christmas one year for me. I remember another Christmas, the Christmas in which I learned the truth of Santa Claus. My mom brought me in and she sat me down and said, "Michael, I have something to tell you. I think you're old enough to hear this. You're 17. But Santa Claus is actually your dad." And I said, "Really?" Because I knew there was no way that that asshole right there was my real father, but Santa? Oh my God, Mom, that's awesome. You are amazing. You go. I got married last year for the first time, and then for the second time on that same day. It was a very busy day. My wife and I, we want to have a child. That's kind of what the plan is for this year. This is the plan to have a baby. I have no idea what I'm doing because you see the kind of like fatherly advice I've been given. I think the best father figure I've had in my life so far has been Darth Vader, but she said, "Wait, why don't you borrow our nephew here? Like, go hang out with him. He'll be your practice child. Figure out what to do." I was like, "Oh, it's a great plan. That's awesome." I took him to the park, and we were playing, having a great time, and he sees another kid go up the sliding board, right? Like, not the ladder, but the actual slide itself, where you're not supposed to go. And he says, "I want to do that." I said, that's right, kid. Yes, you do. That's amazing. It's a rite of passage. We're going to go do that right now. So I took him to the slide, and I put him on it, and he's scrambling, and he's flailing, and he's going absolutely nowhere, like a hamster on a wheel, and I'm the only one amused. And he realizes that it's not working, and it's my fault. So he says, "Push me!" And I said, "All right, kid, we're going up this slide." And I put my hand on his back, and I said, "Are you ready?" He says, "Ready!" And I go, "Here we go." And I thought I had the angle properly selected. I thought we're gonna go up the incline, right? But what I did was shove his face directly into the sliding board, right? Went, "Are you ready?" "Ready!" Bam! That's what I did. I did that. And he's crying, he's screaming, everybody in the park is looking, and I said, "No, practice child doesn't count. Does not count." And I thought, well, I gotta fix this. And I'm going back through my memory of being a child. I was like, what did my dad do when this situation would arise? And I remembered that what my dad did was drugs. Not an option, really, at this point. And then I remembered what would happen when me and my brother would wrestle, and I would suplex him like a little too realistically. And so I applied that solution to the current problem, and I wrapped my arms tightly around my little nephew to stifle his screams. And I'm whispering, "Shh, you're okay, shh, it's all right, shh, don't tell Mom." And apparently it worked, because he calmed down, and he stopped crying, and he looks at me and he says, "Can we go get my shoe?" I was like, "Oh, he's lost," and I looked down and he's lost his shoe. Like his car's like sock is looking up at me, like Lightning McQueen, like, "I know what you did." And I was like, "Oh man, alright." So we go back out, it's there, it's on the slide. I picked his shoe up, put it back on him, and he says, "You did it." And then he applauds. Oh my God, it's so heartwarming. I did a good thing. I fixed the problem. And then I realized he's not applauding me. He's giving me a slow clap. Like a tiny Heath Ledger as the Joker. Like, "You did it." And I realized, oh my God, this child hates me. Just like a real dad. Yes.